All right, draw BAC. Go ahead. Yep. Question. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, here we go. Draw angle BAC. Remember, you can name an angle with 3 letters, right? Where's A going? Here we go. Where's A going? I'm going starting right away. We got a 4 in the house. Where's A going? What's A called? Point A on this angle. Who's got 4? Angle BAC. What did we call where A goes? It's in the middle. Where these two meet, this point right here. Begins with a V, ends in vertex. Vertex. Everybody good? That's the middle letter of the how we name an angle. So angle BAC. AX is a ray. AX is a ray. Angle bisector. What's an angle bisector do again? Look in your notes if you forget. Here we go. 2. What's an angle bisector do again?
It like turns the angle into like 2 different angles.
Not 2 different ones.
2
congruent. 2 congruent angles, right? So if I'd ready, everyone draw in ray AX. X has got to be somewhere on there. It splits it into 2 congruent angles. What do I put on each angle then if they're congruent? 2 again.
The
hash marks are for segments.
I don't know.
Okay. Here we go. We're picking it up here on Monday. 1, Annie, do you remember?
The round marks. I forget what they're called.
Arc marks.
Yeah.
Yep, we put arc marks there. That says they're congruent. Okay, fill it in. BAX. Everyone label BAX. Take your darn index finger. Trace it if you don't know where it is. BAX. BAX. Right there. 5x minus 25. CAX. Trace it. C to A to X. 3x plus 5. Find X. So I need an equation to set up from somebody right now. We just went over what an angle bisector is. Need an equation to set up. Here we go. 7.
5x minus 25 equals 3x plus 5.
Awesome. They're equal to each other. 5x minus 25 equals 3x plus 5. Go and solve. Three, when you're ready, need X. 15. It's a 2-part question. Find X and find what BAX is. So now I'm going to take 15, substitute it in. When you have BAX, after you substitute it in, let me know how many degrees. 3 again. Yep, 50 degrees. Any issues there? Angle bisector. All right, hopefully we did. Yep.
So when you're like subtracting like the variables, do you just stick them on one side, or I don't know how to phrase the question, but
you get variables on one side, numbers on the other. Right? We're solving equations back from algebra.
yeah.
So I move the 3x over. It doesn't really matter what you do, as long as the variable's on one side and all your numbers are on the other. So I would subtract 3x over, I get 2x. I add 25 over here, I get 30. And now I divide both sides by 2, and that's where that 15 comes into play. Right? I don't want to bring it up, but it's algebra
I'm
back in the day here, right? Any other questions? Okay, hopefully we didn't go through the motions with this homework here. Maybe that's where we're having problems with performance on quizzes here. All right, here we go. Any questions on the homework, specifically I'm not really concerned with naming them this section of the homework here. Yep, go ahead. Okay, 39, everyone. Before we even start, I'm going to test you guys here. I don't know if you saw this. I think I put it at the bottom of your homework. Yep, look at the diagram. Hey, take a look at the diagram. Do you see 2 arc marks already? Okay, that means those 2 angles are congruent, but they're not the only 2 angles. You had to read the directions here. BH bisects angle EBC. There's another 2 pair in this diagram other than the pair they marked in there for you. So everyone see where EBC is on my diagram right now. EBC, and everyone see where BH is. Before we even start, I'm going to ask somebody, here's BH. Name the other 2 angles that are congruent. Again, EBC is getting bisected by BH. So which 2 angles up here are going to be congruent then? 15, EBC getting bisected by BH. Name the other 2 angles.
We have 13.
What's that?
We have 13. You said 15.
We only have 13? All right, sorry. There we go. 11, here we go. Name the 2 angles that are congruent then.
BFH and
Okay, hold on. Time out. Ready? BFH, not an angle. If I trace that with my finger, B to F to H is not an angle.
FBH.
Okay. Do you see where EBC is? Here you go. EBC. This array is bisecting it, cutting it into 2 congruent angles. So where are they?
EBH and HBC.
Okay, these 2 right here. All right, everyone good before we get going? Remind me of the number again. I'm getting fired up, sorry. 39. So here you go, 39. ABF from here to here is 7B minus 24. Let's see. ABE is 2B. Find EBF. This angle right here. Do I have that right? 7B, AB. Oh, yeah, we're good. What did we know about these 2 angles from the diagram, even before we read the directions? So if that's 2B, what can I label this one? 2B. And what can I do to these 2 to get 7B minus 24, the whole angle? Add them up. 2B plus 2B, those 2 angles right here, put together equal the whole one, which they told me was 7B minus 24. Good deal? All right. Let's go. Keep asking. It's not going to get any easier. Rachel?
40.
40? All right, just let me get rid of this. Diagram still applies. Those angles are still congruent.
Didn't we only have to do odds in the last part?
We only do odds.
We're going to do odds.
Oh, I just don't know.
I don't care which one. I'm still going to do it, though.
Oh.
Which one was it again?
40.
40. I'll still do it. EBC, the whole angle here. I got to get rid of this diagram. There we go. So EBC was 31A minus 2. EBH was 4A plus 45. Find HBC, this one right there. All right, so I believe we just said that those 2 were congruent, right? Because BH bisects EBC. So if I just label this as 4A plus 45, this angle here, what's the congruent angle then? 4A plus 45, and when I put those 2 together, I get this whole angle right here, EBC. So I can say 4A plus 45 plus 45 equals the whole angle, 31A minus 2. Sure, right? Go ahead,
Yeah,
keep talking.
I think that's what I did wrong, because I did a different step that I didn't take. Subtracted them.
Yeah, because these 2 are congruent. 4A plus 45, 4A plus 45, add them together. All right, other questions? Bisects, are we good? The term bisects. Okay, let me see it real quick, and we got more stuff to do here today. Let's pause this. All right, more vocab. All right, train's not going to stop with the vocabulary. I think I warned you guys day one of this unit. Hey, a lot of vocab, and you're starting to see that. What do we have? Bisector already, obtuse, right angles, adjacent angles. Here you go. I'm not going to read the definition to you, but I will let you know. There's three things that need to happen. Three things that need to happen for two angles to be adjacent. And it's in this definition. I'm just going to try to pluck it out. First thing that needs to happen for two angles to be adjacent, they need to share an endpoint, share a vertex. And we learned this morning where a vertex was, right where the two rays meet. They got to share a vertex. Second thing that's got to happen, those two angles need to share a side. So share a vertex, share a side, and I will explain this third one as we go through these examples. No interior points in common. I'll explain that as we go through each example. All right, so look at example A for me. Everyone see my angle X and Y now. I want to know, are these adjacent or not? Well, let's take a look. Do they share a vertex? Do angle X and angle Y share a vertex? Yes or no? Yes, they do. Do they have a side in common? Yes, so we're 2 for 2. Now, what do I mean by no interior points in common? Everyone right now take your pencil or pen, whatever you're taking notes with, put a point inside angle X. Just put a point inside, not on, inside. Is that point also in angle Y? Is that point also inside angle Y? No, it's not. Can you find a point that you can put in one angle that's also in the other angle? Me neither. So that's what that means. No interior points in common. So see how it shares a vertex, they share a side, and they have no interior points in common. So are angles X and Y in diagram A adjacent? Darn right they are. Adjacent. That's all I need to know. I'm not worried about give a reason. How about B? Are those two adjacent? Look at my requirements and tell me which one it doesn't meet. Here we go. 3. Adjacent or not?
They don't share a point.
They don't share a, what do you mean by point?
Common vertex.
They don't share a common vertex. Done. Don't even, if they don't share a common vertex, I don't need it. All right, C is a little controversial just so we understand. Angle angle Y is this one right here, everyone. That's angle Y. Angle X is the big one, the whole one. That's angle X right there.
On our paper, C is different, and that's D.
You guys have a middle one, huh?
Yeah.
You have a C. All right. All right. So here's X, here's Y. All right, let's go to that one then. Share a vertex. Share a side. I got the red one, right? Yeah. Yep. Any common, ready? Is that common point? Is that interior point in X? Nope. Can I put a point that's going to be in both? Nope. So we could say this is adjacent. And then we go to D. Now again, let me just back up. Angle Y is the smaller one. Angle X is the full one in the diagram. Do they share a vertex? Do they share a vertex?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Do they share a side?
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Ready? Here's a point in angle Y. Is it also in angle X?
Yes.
Okay, that's a problem. They can't have any interior points in common. So this diagram not adjacent. All good? On adjacent angles. Complementary. I think this is a term you've heard before. Angles that add to 90, but I'm going to be pretty particular about this. Hey, notice the definition? 2. It's got to be 2. Well, what if you have 3 angles that add to 90? You know what you call those? 3 angles that add to 90. All right. Complementary is for 2 and 2 only. Here's what we'll mainly see. Here's what we'll see for complementary angles in here. What's that right there? What's that my symbol for?
Right angle.
Right angle. It's how many degrees?
90.
Okay, and then now I'm going to do this. And make angle 1 and 2. See why it's complementary. Those two angles are complementary. They add to 90. Also, here we go. Let's go. Let's raise your game. 1 and 2 are complementary. They also are. Give me another vocabulary term. Just talked about. 1 and 2 are complementary. They're also adjacent to each other. All good? Questions? Supplementary. Not add to 90, but add to 180. And I'm going to be detailed here. 2 angles again. It's got to be 2. Always 2. Anything more, it's just a couple angles that add to 180. Okay, here's how we'll see it. What did I just draw? What's the angle measure of this line? Okay, ready? There you go. 1 and 2 are supplementary. They form a straight line. Measures 180. They also are what? 1 and 2 are supplementary, yeah, but they're also what? Adjacent. All right. We need a new vocabulary term now. Instead of just saying they're supplementary and they're adjacent. If that happens at the same time, supplementary and adjacent, if it happens at the same time, we're going to start referring to that as a linear pair now. Okay, we're going to start referring to those angles as a linear pair. They're adjacent and supplementary at the same time. Let me say that. Adjacent and supplementary at the same time. Linear pairs. Has the word what in it? Linear has the word line. There you go. 2 angles that form a line that are adjacent. So diagram A, do you think 1 and 2 are linear pairs? Adjacent and form a line. 8, what do you think? Are those linear pairs? Are they adjacent and form a line? No. They're adjacent, but they don't form a straight line. All good? So these are not linear pairs. How about B? Angles 1 and 2, linear pairs, yes or no? 13? Yes, they are. That's a classic example of linear pairs. Well, I don't put linear pairs. And how about C? Angles 1 and 2, linear pairs. Here we go, 7?
No.
Nope, they're not even adjacent. They don't even share a vertex. All right. Next up, theorem. Here's your first time experiencing that word. That's a true fact in geometry. It's a fact in geometry, a theorem. Okay, we're going to have probably, and not trying to freak you out, I'm being realistic here. We have 12 units this entire year. We'll probably have about 50 to 75 theorems. All right, you can see we've got 2 going on right now. First one's about linear pairs. What is true about linear pairs? Here we go. Linear pairs are blank. And I'm not looking for adjacent. What did we just say about linear pairs? They are adjacent, but that's not the fact I'm looking for here. Linear pairs are, if I see 2 angles that are a linear pair, I know they are 1, something other than adjacent. What else do we know? Linear pairs, they have to be adjacent and,
They have to be 180.
okay, give me the vocabulary term now. You're correct, but I want just the vocabulary term.
Supplementary.
Thank you. There you go. Supplementary. So here's our first fact. Linear pairs are always supplementary, which means they add to 180. We're talking geometry now. Talking geometry. Please don't copy this down. I just had 2 lines intersect. How many angles did I just form? How many angles did I just form up here? 4, right? Do you see the opposite ones that are opposite each other? Those are vertical angles. Okay, those are vertical. Right? When I have 2 intersecting lines, I formed 4 angles, and the ones that are opposite are called vertical. All good? Those are vertical, the ones that are opposite. So look at my diagram here. A, do you think 1 and 2 are vertical? Are angles 1 and 2 vertical in letter A? 4, what do you think? Are they opposite each other?
No.
No, so these are not vertical. All right, I'm going to call on somebody else, though. They are what, though? Think about it. They're not vertical, but you could call them what? 5? Thank you, linear pairs. All right, don't tell me adjacent. Don't tell me supplementary. Let's use the big word now, linear pairs. What do you think for B? Are those vertical angles? 7.
No.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's why. Those aren't two intersecting lines. They need to be two intersecting lines. So these are not vertical. And what about C? Are 1 and 2 vertical? 3?
Yep.
Yes, they are. All right, theorem, fact about vertical angles that we're going to fill in right now. Here we go. You may not be confident in your ability, but if I just give you that one angle, you can find the other 3. If I give you 150, you should be able to find the other 3. Ready? What's the angle to the right? Don't yell anything out. Think about it. If that's 150, what's the angle to the right based on our discussion today? You got to know what type of angles they are. 150, the one next to it. 10. What type of angles are these?
Supplementary.
Go ahead. So this is what?
30.
30. They are supplementary. I would like linear pairs, but yeah, supplementary is fine with me. If that's 30, what's the one to the left of it? 7.
150.
$1.50. What's the one to the left of the 150 I just wrote down? Or either 150. 4. 30. Somebody tell me something about vertical angles now. Look at the vertical angles. Vertical angles are 1.
Congruent.
There you go. Congruent. Thank you for saying congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. So if any angles are vertical, they have the same measure. And one more vocab term for the day. Perpendicular. 2 lines that form a right angle. Think you could draw that for me? 2 lines right now that intersect to form a right angle. What do lines have on them? If I'm going to have you draw a line, what do they have on the ends of them? Okay, so can you draw me 2 lines that form a right angle, which means how many degrees? Okay, draw. Go ahead, see if you can draw it. Think you can draw it. I don't want to throw mine up yet. Draw 2 angles that intersect to form a 90-degree angle. Draw. Just 2 lines that intersect that look like they form a 90-degree angle. You guys, most of the diagrams look pretty darn good. What can you put on your diagram to show me they make a 90-degree angle? Right? Make sure they're lines. A couple of you guys have a ray going there. Make sure they're lines. Good. Put something on that diagram. Perfect. Here's what I'm seeing a lot of, which look great. Fine. And then somewhere on there, all you need is 1. Anybody? Why do I need just 1? What's this one got to be? 90, right? 90, 90. So I don't need to show all 4. I just need to show 1. All right, let's label your lines right now. Call one line AB for me and the other line CD. We have to figure out how to write this mathematically, that they're perpendicular. Off to the side, write line AB. We should know how to write that symbolically. Line AB. Get a little space in between them and write line CD for me. CD. All right, what am I going to put in between that says they're perpendicular? Anybody know that symbol? perpendicular symbol. Upside down T. Here you go. Here's the symbol we're going to use for perpendicular from now on. Upside down T. All right, I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. You got some questions on the next page. We are going to skip. I want you to go right down to examples 6 through 11. Okay, 6 through 11 right now on your own, and then we'll do 4 and 5 together. Okay, so 6 through 11 on your own, next page. You can work with each other around you. That's fine with me. Have a calculator next to you probably. But 6 through 11, that's what I want you to work on. 6 through 11. Find the angle measures. What do you want here? Let's roll 5. What do we got for EBF? 51 degrees. EBA, next one. EBA, 3. 90 degrees. It's right now. Hey, take a look. EBA, supplementary, right next to a right angle. So it's got to be a right angle as well. DBE. DBE, 3 again. DBE, who's got 3? 3, number 3. Spencer, is that you? Number 3? DBE.
20.
20? I did not get 20. DBE, right? This was 73. These two angles form what?
Oh, 90.
90, right? So if I did 20, that's 93, not 90. So this angle had to be 90 minus 73, which was 17 degrees. Okay? 17 degrees. How about DBC? Next one. 1.
107 degrees.
Buck 7 for DBC. ABF. 8.
141.
141. Got it. Yep. And DBF. DBF. That one right there. 2.
68 degrees.
68 degrees. There you go. Anybody want to look at any of those right there? If they form 90, they add together. They form 180. Anything before we back up a little bit? All right, let's back up. Let's go to example 4. Example 4. All right, 2 angles are complementary. Let's stop right there. They have to add 2. Go back in your notes. 10. What are these 2 angles add to? 2 angles are complementary.
180.
Complementary. That's supplementary.
Oh,
90. Ready, everybody? 2 angles. Angle 1 plus angle 2 add to 90. You just got to fill in my blanks now. These 2 angles add to 90. What do we know about them? Smaller one, 50 less than the larger. Smaller, 50 less than the larger. You may or may have not done this in algebra this year, but I like to have it written down. Let statements, so I know what my variables represent. I'm always going to call one of the angles X. That's where my starting point is. It's up to you guys. There's no right or there's no wrong answer here. So as a class, let's make a decision because we got a small angle and we got a large angle. What do you want X to be? Small or large? Large. Anybody have a problem with if it's large? Okay, let's go large angle. X is the larger. All right, now I'm going to ask somebody. Don't yell anything out. Smaller is 50 less than the larger. So how are you going to write what the smaller one is then? It's 50 less than this. Less than the larger. So how am I writing? I don't want a new variable either. I want something with X in it. No new variables. 6, something
X minus 60.
minus Y 50. X minus 50 is the smaller. So everyone see your 2 angles, X and Now, would you have been wrong if you had said x was the smaller? No. How would I write the larger? X, not x minus 50 anymore, but x plus 50. Okay, so if you called x the smaller. All right, let's solve it. Let's solve for x. Combine your like terms and move it over. And when you're ready, let me know your x value. 3. When you're ready.
25.
What'd you get?
25.
How are we getting 25 out? You get 2x minus 50. How do you move the 50 over?
I got 70.
Okay, 70 is x. This is why I like let statements. Right? This is why I like let statements. What does this mean? X equals 70. Go back to your let statement. What's x equal? So this is my larger angle. What's the problem asking me for? Go back, read the end of the problem. What's the problem asking me for?
Smaller.
Guys, just read the question. Read the question. Don't guess. Just read it.
Measure
Find the degree measure of the.
the larger.
What, you guys have larger written down or no? Right? Larger. And what's x? That's my larger. That's why I have let statement. So I don't need to plug this back in. I'm done. I don't need to plug this back in. I am done. Okay, the next one's going to be it. This is it for today. Two angles are supplementary. Great. What do they add to then? Here we go. 9. 180. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did above. Two angles add to 180 now. Supplementary. All right, we got to help me fill in the blanks. This is a little bit different now. They're in a ratio of 7 to 2. Let me explain what that means first before we even move on to what to write in the blanks. Here's what the ratio of 7 to 2 means. One angle could be 7 degrees. The other angle could be 2. Does that make any sense in this problem? Why not? Why doesn't 7 and 2 degrees make sense? 4?
Because
They have to add to what?
180.
What's supplementary mean?
Two angles that add up to 90. 180.
Okay, look back in your notes because I'm not going back and forth with this 180, 90 stuff. Look back in your notes. Supplementary, two angles that add to 180. 7 and 2 don't add to 180. So what I'll do right now is I'll double them to get 14 and 4. This is still a ratio of 7 to 2, but does this make sense? Why? Still, why not? Not going to add up to 180. Okay, let me triple them now. 7 times 3, 2 times 3. Does that make sense? No, okay. This is getting frustrating, annoying. All right? Me just trying out different, multiplying 7 and 2 by a number to see if they add to 180. Let's do this mathematically now. 7 times what? Plus 2 times that same number. I'm trying to find what do I need to multiply 7 and 2 by that when I add them together get 180. So when I have numbers in a ratio, I'm asking you guys to put x's with those numbers. Find the value now. Go ahead, solve for x. Find that number I need to multiply by. Find the value of x, let me know. Take your time. 12, when you're ready, let me know. 20? Does that mean one of my angles is 20? No. That's what I need to multiply by to get those angles. So how should I find one angle then? Because either angle's not 20. Using the 20, how do I find what one of the angles is? It's 12 again?
You multiply both of them by
So pick one angle.
7.
Okay, here we go. 7 times 20. One of the angles is 140. And how to find the other angle? Now what do I multiply by 20? 1.
2 times 20.
There you go. 2 times 20 equals 40. Quick check. Do they add to 180? Darn right they do. Questions? Okay, instead of grabbing books and everything, I don't want to waste time because we still have 5 minutes. I'll put the book page up on the board and you guys can start there. Okay. Actually, nope. Sorry. You know how we'll end class? You guys doing example 12. I forgot about 12. So go ahead. See what you can do with example 12. Look at what I've given you. Look at the information I've given you and see if you can answer the find part. Let me know what you got and then talk me through it. I don't need a fancy equation. Just talk me through how you got it. All right, let me know what you got first for the 2 angles and then talk me through what you got. Whoa, baby. 7?
I got 70 degrees.
Great job. Both of them. 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay. On a quiz, I need to show some work. I just can't plop 70 down because it might be because you got good eyesight and you can see the person next to you. Just walk me through how you got 70. Your explanation. Nothing fancy.
So EBD is 40 degrees, and then because they're vertical or linear pairs,
Okay. Yep.
then ABE is 180, and then
Well, not 180.
or 140.
140, right? ABE's got to be 140 because it makes a straight line. Go ahead. Yep.
And then you split it. They're congruent.
So I split them in half. Yep. And that's where I get 70. Everyone's all good. How we know this right here is 140 because it forms a straight line with the 40. Okay. Great job. All right. Any issues? Please have your compass in class tomorrow. All right. Last day of the unit. Figure out where you stand in class. If it's 2 over your head, let me know or let your guidance counselor know. And then either tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll go over your quiz.